So we just finished an amazing workshop right here at my office where people flew in from all across the country and learned all about our real estate investing business. And we talked about a whole bunch of topics all the way from house flipping and wholesaling to rentals, and really how my business is getting so many deals without me actually being in it. And the feedback we got was amazing, but one of the sections that people really resonated with was when we talked about seller financing. And I thought that it would make for a really good YouTube video to showcase one of the case studies that we did during the workshop. And the cool thing about this deal was nobody else thought it was a deal. Everyone thought that the seller was crazy, they wanted too much money, but we knew that there was a way to optimize and make money on the deal if we knew how to negotiate terms. And that's exactly what we did. But instead of me talking about it, I'm gonna show you the exact slides we used and go over the deal itself so that you guys can learn as well. So this deal was 3 homes in Las Vegas. As you can see, they're pretty new homes. They were in good shape. All of them were rented out, and the seller wanted more than market value. Now, the addresses are blurred out, but here's the situation. Seller owned the properties free and clear and had been renting them for a long time. He was starting to get a little older and he didn't want to be a landlord anymore. Now, when we called him, he had expressed that he wanted $900,000 for all of these properties. At the time when we looked at them, they were probably worth around $820,000 max. And so most people, when they look at a situation like this, they just dismiss the deal. They say, you know what? It's not gonna be a deal. There's nothing we can do about it. Because you gotta remember, as a house flipper, ideally we wanna be around 80% all in. And so if I think all these houses are worth $820, I probably want to be all in at about $650. And so if my max offer is $650 and he wants $900,000, there's almost no way to bridge the gap. It's not like we're talking about $650 versus $670. This is just a deal that most would dismiss. There's no reason to even pursue it. But obviously that's not what happened. I ended up going to the seller and saying, hey, you know, I know you want $900,000. It's more than market value. I can't give you that with cash, but what I can do is get you something close to it if you're willing to sell us the deal on terms. And so some of you watching this video might be thinking, what are terms? What exactly does that mean? With seller financing, you can negotiate almost every aspect of the deal. You can negotiate the purchase price, you can negotiate your down payment, you can negotiate the interest rate, you can negotiate how many years they hold the loan for. And so for us, wanting a high purchase price doesn't mean that it's not a deal. It just means that we need to get good terms to make that purchase price worthwhile. So I ended up going to him and saying, look, if you want above market value, I need to get better terms. And after some back and forth, we ended up agreeing on a framework that looked like this. I was gonna pay him $850,000 for the home. He was gonna give me principal-only payments at $3,400 a month for all 3 homes. I was gonna put $30,000 as a down payment, and he was gonna hold the loan for 5 years. So the reason that I can overpay on this deal is because the principal-only payments. Think about it. If I'm paying down $3,400 a month, that comes out to almost $41,000 per year. So in the span of 5 years, I'm gonna pay off over $200,000 in debt that I owe this guy. On top of that, I'm also gonna be making cash flow because the market rent was around $4,500. Now, if you look 5 years from now, I'll have paid off 200 grand, plus I'll have gotten appreciation, so I should have a decent amount of equity. But that's not the deal I ended up doing. Actually, what happened was he said, look, I like the deal, but I'd really like to get $900,000. That's what my wife wants for him. Is there any way you can do $900,000? And I said, if you want $900,000, that's like way above market value, but I will give it to you if you give me these terms. And here are the terms that I gave him. Check this out. I ended up giving him $900,000, but I increased the loan term from 5 years to 15 years. So when you're getting principal only pay down, this is significant, because I'm paying off $200,000 every 5 years. So him taking that from 5 years to 15 years is now gonna allow me to pay off $600,000 of this loan over that period. We kept the payments the same at $3,400. The market rent is $4,500, like I said. And then we decreased the down payment. He originally was gonna take $30,000 and now he was taking $15,000. So he went from $10,000 a property to $5,000 a property. And the balloon payment after those 15 years would have been $288,000. That just goes to show how fast you can pay off something when you don't have any interest. Now, even though this is a killer deal, if I wanted to keep it as a rental, one of the big things I teach in my coaching program is multiple exit strategies. At the end of the day, people always ask me, Ryan, how do you decide whether you flip it, whether you wholesale it, whether you keep it as a rental? Well, we look at our options for every single deal. And so with this deal, I didn't just say, oh, I'm keeping this as a rental, it's set in stone. No, I wanna look at every available option. Well, In this case, we're overpaying for the home, so there's no way we can flip it. That's out of the question, okay? Obviously, we could keep it as a rental. We know what we're getting if we do, but is there somebody else that really wants this property as a rental? Is there somebody else who really loves these terms and they wanna invest in this? If so, how much could we wholesale it to them for? Well, you'll be surprised. People were willing to pay a lot for this deal. Check this out. We ended up assigning this to an end buyer for a $90,000 assignment fee. And on top of that, somebody else brought us the buyer and made $25,000 on top of the 90. So we made 90, they made 25. At the end of the day, the end buyer actually paid $200,000 more than market value, but they still got a good deal. But this is how you gotta look at it. In 15 years, at 3% appreciation, this whole portfolio is worth about $1.3 million. And the buyers are only gonna owe $288,000 because of all that principal paydown. So between the wholesale fees and the 15 grand down payment, they need to come out of pocket $140,000, but they're gonna make over $1 million in equity 15 years from now. Plus, they're getting all the cash flow on top of that. So you gotta ask yourself today, if you could invest $140,000, would you invest it knowing that in 15 years, it'll be worth $1 million pretty safely? And on top of that, you're gonna make cash flow. I think many of you who have 140 grand watching this video would say, absolutely, this is a great passive income opportunity. And that's exactly what happened with this buyer. They were not the only one. We had other buyers chomping at the bits to get this deal. And this is just a great win all the way around. We made a huge assignment fee. The person who brought us the buyer made a huge assignment fee. The buyer gets 3 houses all near each other in a nice new rental portfolio on great terms. And then the seller got the $900,000 that they were dead set on getting. And the dude looks like a hero to his wife because he got $900,000. Now, granted, would he have been better off selling it for market value at $820 and paying realtor fees and all that? Probably, but that's not what he wanted. He wanted $900,000. That was all that mattered to him, and he found a way to get it. And I actually recorded this call with the seller. He was totally fine with it, and we analyzed it on one of my coaching calls. It was really cool for my students to see firsthand how I negotiated that deal, because you could hear it on the phone call when he said, you know what though, I know that $850 offer's pretty good, but if you could figure out a way to do $900, that'd be really good. Thankfully, I heard him and we were able to do it because that increased our wholesale fee tremendously. I think on the original deal where it was only a 5-month carry, we could have wholesaled it, maybe made 10 to 20 grand, but the fact that I ended up getting these even better terms allowed us to get 90 grand. But that's just an example of one way we've used seller finance in my business to monetize leads that nobody else would have. In the workshop, I gave a couple other examples of some cool deals that we've done with seller financing or subject to. In my coaching programs, we also go over seller financing tactics, how to present the pitch, and how to close the deal. So if you're interested in that, definitely click the link below. You can apply to be in one of our programs. You can also check out any of my courses where we go in depth on how to do it as well. But the biggest thing I can say is you can pay any price if you get the right terms. Most people who get into real estate investing are strictly price focused, and they miss out on a ton of other opportunities because they're so worried about price. I'm sure we weren't the only one to talk to this seller, but we were the only one who made $90,000 on this deal because we were willing to be creative with it. And so hopefully it inspires you guys to start getting creative with your offers as well. But anyways, if you like this video, do me a big favor and hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Go follow me on all the socials. Until next time, peace.